Hare Krishna. This is Mrinal Ghiya for ISKCON in the service of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. And the topic is what happens after death. It is a question that has exercised humanity's finest minds. Srila Prabhupada books, Beyond Birth and Death, has changed people's view on death. Isaac B. Singer, the Nobel laureate, he said, how can there be death? Because everything is part of God. For a soul, there is never death and the body is never alive. So this is a mystery. It's a mystery because actually people doesn't think so much about death because it is a serious matter. Generally people are scared of when they think about death. It scares. It brings nervousness. But then Vedic philosophy talks beautifully on this. And it helps us to understand the whole concept nicely. Actually, people seldom think what happens after death. Some people believe death is the end of everything. And some people believe in heaven and hell. And some people believe there is this life and the life goes on even after this life also. So what happens? Does the death means the end of everything, or it leads to new life, new dimension, new world? What does death exactly mean? So for this we have to go and we have to understand this concept beyond the scope of senses and the measurements and the faculty of mental speculation. We have to actually understand this concept by turning towards the enlightened philosophers who knows the truth and who has accepted the truth from higher source. Srila Prabhupada says for a soul there is no birth and no death. It is there, it is a person. It's only the body which dies, and this body works because of the living entity which is there and which actually helps to because of this consciousness, this body is moving. So that body is never a subject matter for philosophical inquiry. It is the active principle which has to be considered. And Bhagavad Gita says for a soul there is neither birth nor death. It is ever existing, it is eternal, it is unborn. And Bhagavad Gita gives logical explanation so that we can understand this. It is not just this is a faith, it's a matter of faith. Existence of the soul is there, it's given in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita talks about as the embodied soul passes from boyhood to youth to old age to disease to death. Similarly, this we also have this after the death, the soul transmigrate from one body to another. I mean, it's just gives up the old useless body and takes the new one. This is a simple philosophy. And this is there are 84,100,000 species of life, and according to our desire we get the one particular form of body. It starts from microbes and it goes to fish, then we have insects, we have plants, we have reptiles, then animals, and we have human, and it rises to the demigods. So there are in all 8400 species of life, and according to our desire we get particular form of body. So it's actually because of the desire we get this body. And we can actually get out of this 84,100,000 species of life if we inquire why are we rotating in the cycle of birth and death. And actually this existence, our current existence, is also because of the consciousness we had at the time of death in our last birth. So we can get out of the cycle of cycle of 84,100,000 species of life. Imagine sometimes becoming animals, sometimes insects, sometimes demigods also, because if you have pious credit then you can become demigod also. So, but then it's like Vedic literature talks about to get out of this cycle of birth and death. This world is not meant to uh, live a life here. We are actually a person from a spiritual world. So, what we can do, how can we get out of this cycle? We can follow devotional practices. Vedic literature talks about the devotional practices like following rules and regulations, chanting the holy name of the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful to us. He is like he came to this world just to actually take all of us back home, back to Godhead in the form of holy names so that we can chant these holy names anywhere, anytime. Ajamil, he was very good devotee, but because of some reason, he actually falls down from his position. And at the time of death, he was very scared and he was very fearsome of the death personified. And he persistently he calls the name of the Lord, Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. But actually, Narayan was the name of the son. His son's name was Narayan. And he was persistently calling, and that's how the representative of Lord Narayan came to his help and protected him and saved him from the clutches of the dead personified. And he went back home, back to Godhead. So we have to take advantage of these names, of these holy names. It has Lord's full potency, and we can lead a blissful life, and we can be free from all tensions of death. Hare Krishna.